What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, here with his good buddy, Mike Zuber. Mike, how's it going?
Going well, man. Thanks.
We want to talk about a strategy today that we think a lot of people are going to be missing out on, and they could likely make missteps. So let's talk about creative financing today and really the mindset that people need to have when delivering creative financing. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know you've done a lot of it.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things, and it's always fun having these conversations with other sales guys, other commission sales guys. So I just want to step back and just realize a commission sales guy, your job is to get the deal done, right? To get the signature on the contract.
Yep.
There's always a process to do that. Sometimes it's easier than others. Sometimes it's harder, depending on the economy, the technology, all of that stuff. But you don't care how you get the yes, you just want the yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what I want to tell people about today is buying your home or buying an investment property today is much the same way. You and the seller have to come to an agreement. If only one of you agrees, you don't have a deal. You need both. Right. And there's a couple of facts that we also must appreciate. Rates are going higher. Affordability is going down. Prices are proving to be a lot stickier than everybody expects. So high price, high interest rate, low affordability, not a lot of stuff happening. Transactions crash, which same old story. But here's the deal. Some folks are going to win.
Right.
And the people that are going to win in the next couple of years will people that realize that buying deals today is a process. It's a journey. And the people that are going to lose are the people that are acting like it was the last 2 years. What do I mean by that? I was trying to buy deals the last 2 years and bought 6 or 7. And it was write the contract as fast as possible, right? DocuSign. Go. Get it first in. Get the seller to say yes before anything else shows up, and I win. I fear that a lot of people are doing the same thing today with seller finance deals.
Yes.
And if you're doing that, let me say this the nicest way I can, you're an idiot. Why do I say you're an idiot? If you send somebody a seller finance deal, it's 50, 40, 10, seller, 100% seller finance, whatever it is, and they're not ready for it, they're not educated for it, they are expecting a cash or bank financing offer, they are going to throw away your offer.
Yes.
Not because your offer sucks. Your offer might be the right answer, but if you haven't prepared them, or when I say them, you might be hearing owner, I'm talking about the listing agent, right? If you're working with the listing agent or a different buying agent and you don't educate the listing agent on what they are about to get, they're going to throw it away because most listing agents are inexperienced. We haven't had a creative financing year since 1981. Most real estate agents today weren't even born in 1981. Think about that.
That's true.
So do yourself a favor and call them.
Yes.
If you have a buying agent, have your buying agent do a 3-way call with the listing agent. Again, this is what I'm doing. When I did a video today for listing agents this morning, I'm like, hey, my name is Michael Zuber. My story is a little different than yours. Maybe listening to this, I have a bunch of units. I've been buying for 20 years. I'm a known entity. I don't screw people. I want to pay the seller's list price. Do I have your attention? Oh yeah. I mean, we haven't anybody. I held 2 open houses the last 2 weeks and nobody showed up. I was telling them they may have to lower the price 20%. Well, you know what? I might offer list price. Do I have your attention? Yeah, of course. Well, I've done my research, and I think in this case, your owner has a lot of equity. They bought the house in the 80s. They got no debt or whatever, blah, 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 blah. As you know, I'm a landlord that needs cash flow. What I want to do is structure a deal where they carry some or perhaps all, just like a bank, secured position, save on taxes, maintain income, no stress, and I get a cash flow rental. And oh, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, you're going to get paid because I'm going to bring 10% to the table. You're going to get your 5 or 6% commission.
Absolutely.
Right. When you do a deal with Michael Zuber and you educate your seller, everybody wins.
That's right.
The seller gets their price. The agent gets their commission and Michael Zuber gets another cash flow rental. Everybody wins. Now, I know this doesn't work for everyone. If your seller needs to sell and get a big pile of cash, I'm not your buyer. Good luck with the open houses. But you know what? Listing agents, you have a contract that says 90 or 180 days.
Mhm.
You're probably not getting a lot of offers today. What about bringing them an offer, even if it's creative? And oh, by the way, you know what? Let's write up 2 offers. Here's an example. The property's listed at 750.
Mhm.
In my market, that's luxury,
Okay.
right? Because base is 400. It's not something I normally buy. But in this market, it's age, it's 120 days, it's 140 days. The listing agents get nervous because they probably dropped $5,000 on costs and now they're not going to get paid.
That's right.
You know what? Listing agent, I feel you. You know what? If you want, I can give you 2 offers. I will give you a cash offer at 500,000 for 750, or I will give you a 750 offer with seller financing. And let me educate you how to pitch this, because I'm agnostic. If the seller wants to sell a 750 asset for 500, I'll buy it.
Right. Right.
If they want to do a seller financing at 750, where I structure the deal with a balloon payment 20 years, I'll buy it.
Right.
But now you can, worst case, you can bring the seller offers to show them you're doing the work. Maybe you can get an extension. Maybe. If you want to use me for that, fine. But again, I want to create win for the seller, win for the agent, win for me. If everybody's happy, I'll do as many deals as possible. So again, what I would tell people today, having been a commission salesperson for a long time, the buying cycle for the next 2 years is multiple touch points.
Absolutely.
5, 6, 7, 8 touch points. The last 2 years, if I could get it done in one DocuSign, I win.
Right.
Not going forward. So that's where I think people are having a mistake.
I agree. I think people need to adopt the methodology and the mindset of patiently impatient. Patiently impatient. You need to be patient in the steps and thorough in the steps, and impatient when they get you something back. Never have the client waiting on you. You always be waiting on them. That way they see you're engaged. They see that you're responsive. They see that you heard their concerns. You must respond. You must respond quickly. This is not a negotiation based on who picked up the phone and who didn't. You're trying to give them a level of comfort that you're the person that can get a deal done that benefits them. And so if you are that person, it's about being engaged. It's about being patient. If they say, I'm not really sure, say, okay, are there any questions I can answer for you about that? No, I think I understood what you explained. I just want to take it back and talk about it with my wife. Okay, so it sounds great. When should we agree to touch base? And then
the one thing I would add to that I would be doing is I would want the seller or the listing agent to parrot back to me the 3 reasons why it's a good idea.
That's right.
Because sometimes when they say, I'm going to talk to my wife or my attorney or my kid or my dog, they're doing that because people are nice.
Right.
So I would probably have them tell me, what are the 3 reasons, right? And again, save on taxes, maintain income, whatever I just want to hear them tell me why. And again, oh, by the way, repetition cements it as they get to feel more confident. So that's the one little twist, but yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that when you're having that conversation too, I think what's also really important to essentially taking it down that path is you're counting on the agent to have that conversation. One of the things that I've done when I feel like that agent can't have that conversation is asked if they would mind if we'd have a conversation as a group. That's an option. The other thing is, if it's that much of a killer deal and you really have your eyes on it, I've paid to have my accountant available to participate in the conversation. That way he could say, these are the things that I want you to take back to your accountant, because these are the things that they can then explain to you. But don't wait for that accountant on their side to explain it to them. You make sure that you say, this is an accountant or a CPA or an EA that has massive amounts of experience in these types of transactions. I'm happily ready to have him take the time to meet with you, have that conversation with you, take you through the nuts and bolts of it. And then if your CPA has any questions, because they might not be familiar with something like this, because many of them are not, make that access available to him again. I think if you love the deal, a lot of times that EA or CPA might be $250 an hour to do that. It's probably worth the investment if you're gaining progress and gaining traction and they're open to the idea. I think that's an investment well worth making. What are your thoughts, Mike?
I think that's a genius move, something I haven't used, but I have to, right? I think, again, you and I use the same guy, right? Bob Langworthy.
Yeah, Bob,
I too, I'd get on the phone.
yes,
To have
yes.
that conversation. Even if they want to do it one-on-one, I know Bob's going to tell the right thing. So
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what Mike means by the right thing is laying it all out so somebody can understand it, and there's nothing missed. He's not going to miss any point or topic. They'll be able to ask questions freely. I'm even willing to not be there on the phone conversation or on the meeting. I'm happy to not be there. That way they only hear and they can ask whatever questions about me they want to ask. They can ask whatever questions they want of Bob. The reason I have Bob Langworthy as an EA and my CPA is because I did this with somebody else and they screwed up the deal.
Bob's is an investor
Is
and I'll say CPA even though he's an EA. Most people don't know the difference.
Sure.
But yeah, he's the man. If I had a seller that wanted to talk, I would pay for Bob's time for sure.
It's well worth it. Find somebody that is an EA that understands these concepts. Largely they will, but make sure that they do. I thought all CPAs were created equal. So when I had the conversation with that CPA and then sent her into the meeting, they came out and they're like, I don't know why we'd ever do that. We don't really see that as an advantage. And I said to the CPA, I said, what'd you do?
Yeah, how'd you screw that up? It was a layup.
You blew up my deal. And she's like, well, I think that there's some things for them why it doesn't make sense. And so she said them to me and I go, they're getting a note on the property. What doesn't make sense? Oh, I guess that's true too. I guess that's a note that they could sell. Didn't even know. And I'm just like, oh, that was my fault. I thought that a CPA, I thought she would know. I take the full blame on that one. I lost that deal because I trusted that a CPA knew what she was talking about when it came to property because she had me as a client. That's why she lost my entire book of business, was because I was like, clearly you don't know what I need to be doing in order to make sure to optimize my business. Yeah. So I want to encourage everybody, start thinking like Mike and I are thinking, which is creative financing, the 50-40-10. Check out that video on Mike's channel with Steve Dow at Velocity. They are fantastic partners. I did a 50-40-10 deal with them. It was absolutely awesome, worth its weight in gold. The client is super happy. They're elated. They're like, we are so happy we don't have to work with a bank. And I was like, you have to work with a landlord. They're like, yeah. They're like, that's easy enough though. So we did a 10-year lease back. How much of a win was that? They sold their house. They got a 10-year lease back. And now when they have an issue, they call me. So it makes it really nice and easy. So Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
One rental at a time, Saturday live streams, 8 a.m. Pacific.
It's awesome. Don't miss it. Lumberjack Landlord. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you on my live stream, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. This Sunday, we've got some special treats in advance this coming week that we're going to be doing out there in the field. So I'm excited to finally get back out in the field again.
Nice.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one.